What the heck? How'd that happen? They sound so similar. Did one of them copy the other? Is this just a big coincidence? I have so many questions. Well, let's explore this, shall we? And get to the bottom of the WMU versus ISU fight song. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Zachary Savinsky, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss a new video. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I always find it weird when I hear a certain team's fight song played by somebody else. For example, here in Michigan, the likelihood of me going to another high school and hearing Victory for MSU as that team's fight song is actually pretty high. Man, I wish more high schools had original fight songs. But I guess it is kind of understandable considering there are a lot more high schools compared to the amount of colleges. And that's why I think this whole ordeal I found is so strange. Two schools in two completely different conferences, separated by 473.6 miles, having two fairly identical fight songs.
Coincidence? I think not!
Also, that 473.6 was very specific. Good thing I paid the math budget this week. Actually, more like the Google budget. So I'm a student at one of the schools in question, Western Michigan University, and I've always found our fight song to be one of the greatest and original. Then sometime during my freshman year, I was casually listening to a playlist of college fight songs. You know, as you do. And as I was listening, I stumbled upon the Iowa State fight song and immediately recognized how similar it was to ours. I mean, listen to it. Now, you at home might be thinking that they don't sound anything alike, which is a very fair opinion. And even I recognize that there are parts to both fight songs that don't sound anything alike. But to me, the main parts, mostly being the melody, do sound a lot alike. So how in the world did these two schools end up with almost identical fight songs? Well, let's start at the beginning, specifically with whose fight song came first. And the winner is Iowa State, with their fight song ISU Fights, coming out in 1930, which leaves Western in second place of this two-team race, with our fight song coming out in the early 1960s, a 30-year difference. So, did Western take the Iowa State fight song's best hits and retrofit them into their own fight song? I'm not so sure that's the case. Back in 1959, the university held a contest to replace the existing fight song in alma mater. They first started with the lyrics, and a man named Walter Gilbert, a WMU alum who studied physics and mathematics at the time, won the contest for his lyrics to the fight song. And then the actual music to the fight song and alma mater was also written by Gilbert, who won the second portion of the contest. So the main question we have to ask, was Gilbert inspired by ISU fights, or is this all one huge coincidence?
Coincidence? I think not!
I'm leaning towards this all being a huge coincidence, but if you would bear with me for a second, let's explore the possibility that it's not. As almost a decade ago, Gilbert did an interview with the Western Herald, our campus news site here at Western. In that interview, he mentions that he went to the library to research what fight songs were like. And from there, he began writing lyrics based on ideas from other schools' fight songs. Inspired by other colleges' fight songs, huh? So is it possible he was inspired by the Iowa State fight song? Let's keep digging with a couple of direct quotes from him. I wrote a little melody that I thought was nice, obviously, and I thought it would be just a little different than most fight songs you hear. At my home in Kalamazoo, I was running the lyrics through my head, and this melody just kind of popped into my head that accompanied the lyrics. Alright, my two main takeaways. The melody just popped into your head? Really? It just popped right in there? All while you researched a ton of college fight songs and then wrote a melody that was just a little different from the other ones you heard?
Coincidence? I think not!
So therefore, based on his own words, it's completely plausible that during his research, he stumbled upon the ISU fight song, and then when it came time to write the WMU fight song, he still had ISU fights in the back of his mind. Hence how the melody just popped into his head, and how it was just a little different than most ones you'll hear. However, as interesting as this is, I'm not saying that this is what happened, and I'm certainly not saying he copied their fight song intentionally. I just think there's some fairly compelling evidence that he unintentionally was inspired by the Iowa State fight song. But to me, even if that was the case, I don't think it makes either school's fight song less than what they currently are. I think it just adds to the very vast and rich history and tradition of both schools. After all, there is so much tradition involved with college marching band, and I think this could potentially add to it. So to wrap this all up, which story do I believe more? Well, I believe still this is all one big coincidence. And unless Gilbert admits this, it's just one big theory and possibility. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and at the very least were entertained by all the possibilities presented. But hey, if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. It really helps me out. Until next time though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great week and I'll see you in the next video.